Okay, Alan, how's things? How's the injury coming along?
Aye, good, coming along really well. Starting to progress a bit to full running now, so hopefully I'll maybe possibly start training with the boys towards the end of the month. Probably 10 days or so, maybe I could be training with the first team, hopefully.
Right, and have you targeted any reserve games? Or
I've not
focused at the moment?
I've not really targeted anything, to be honest. The physio have always said to me, don't kind of set targets with this type of injury. He said it's easy to get a setback. He says it's not a major thing, he says, but every time you up your progress, he says you can get wee setbacks. It might put you back a week or two or whatever, or a couple of days, he says. So it's important not to really set any. I've not set any targets at all. The only target I've got is maybe to wee bit of light in the tunnel. And the physio said I could be training with the first team at the end of the month, which would be good.
So far, no setbacks?
No, everything's went fine. I mean, I think it's actually 6 months a day since the operation. And they said at the time it between 6 and 9 months before I'm back playing. So any time between that. So
it's been a very serious injury. You must be itching to get back onto the park.
Oh, I'd be desperate. I thought at the time it was a good time to get it, whereas I know it's never a good time to get a cruciate ligament injury, but at the time it was near the end of the season, so part of my rehab was going to miss 2 months of the close season, so it's probably a good time to get it in that sense. But when you come back in at the start of the new season for pre-season, everybody's buzzing and you're not going out to join in with the boys, it's a wee bit disheartening.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is it you miss most about not playing on the Saturday?
Everything. It's not just the Saturday, it's just leading up to the Saturday as well. I mean, the Thursday and the Friday is a big part of the Saturday as well, leading up to the game. It more or less takes over your whole week, the preparation, things you eat, things you do, you train. So all that totally changes. You're now available to go to the shops and do things like that you don't want to be doing on Saturdays or before Saturdays. So it's a major difference, to be honest.
Would you say this has been the worst injury setback of your career?
Definitely. I've never really had an injury, so I'm 30 now, so I've been quite lucky in that sense. I've not had a serious injury or anything that's really kept me out. I've not really missed many games with injuries, so in one sense I've been lucky. At the same time, it's obviously unlucky to get that injury, but I've been lucky enough to go through my whole career so far without getting anything.
What do you remember about the incident?
It actually happened during the training. Well, they're not sure exactly when they pinpointed when the injury actually happened, but I only remember feeling a bit of pain in my knee when we were training up at Petershill. I just went to run and stop. As I stopped, I felt a wee pop. I heard a wee kind of noise. And the next day I was suspended actually. I wasn't supposed to be playing anyway, and it just swelled up. And a week later, it settled down. A week later I thought it was okay to go and train, went to train. I knew something wasn't right. Went for a scan, see the specialist, and he said you'd ruptured your cruciate ligament. Easy as that.
That's not what any player wants to hear. It's ended a lot of careers, that injury, hasn't it? Do you feel quite lucky that you've managed to make a comeback?
Oh, definitely. Well, touch wood, I've not came back yet, so definitely. I mean, years gone by, it's ended many people's careers. I think the specialist said to me when I went to see him, I mean, I was sitting shell-shocked when he said to me, but he was quite blasé about it because he deals with that kind of every day. But he says maybe 10 years ago it ended careers, but nowadays people are back in between 6 and 9 months or 6 and 12 months, back playing normal.
You've been watching on Saturdays, obviously. I think this current Thistle defence is one of the strongest they've had for a long time. You're quite confident you'll slip straight back in there comfortably? I'm
not confident slipping straight back in, no. I think it's a great thing that we've got competition. I mean, people at Willie Kinneborough can't get in the team at the moment either. They played quite a lot last year and they can't get in the team. But it's definitely one of our strong points of defending this year. We've been really, really solid at the back, give or take 1 or 2 games, so we've done really, really well. It'll not be easy to get back in. More
pressing matters. You've had a little blip with Thistle in the last 3 matches. What do you put that down to?
It's hard to pinpoint it actually. We knew we were going to, when I've been playing, I've been looking at the fixtures coming up, we knew this was going to be a hard quarter for us because we had all the teams that are going to be up there at the top of the league. We had them away from home. We knew we had them firmly in St Johnstone away from home, but it's coincided with the Airdrie game, which was a major disappointment, I think. And the Rangers game where we played really well and it's been such a come down. It's just hard to pinpoint exactly what's went wrong. I don't think there's a lot in it. I mean, Saturday's game, for example, there wasn't a lot in that game because it went either way, I thought. And in the early part of the season we're getting the goals at the right time. I think it's just if we get the goals at the right time makes a major difference because as you said we're keeping it tight at the back.
Yeah. It's also coinciding, as one fan pointed out this morning, with Ignis being emblazoned on your top. I think that's got anything to do with the recent...
I didn't realise that.
I don't think you've won since.
Is that right? Well, we'll not be mentioning that. I don't think it's anything to do with that. As I say, I hope it's just down to getting the right goals at the right times. Could make a major difference, and we've seen that in the first quarter. In this league in general, getting the first goal makes a major difference.
Yeah. I mean, you've not scored at all in the last 3 matches. Thistle, do you think it's maybe time to throw Liam straight back in from the start?
I think only Liam can answer that question. I mean, I've been out injured for a long time myself. It's no easy for him. I think if he does come in and he starts, as long as people are patient with him, he's still a young boy. I mean, as much as sometimes when you're injured you become a better player because they're missing him on the park and we're not scoring goals. But as long as they're patient with him, I mean, he's just back for a major injury himself, quite a serious injury. As long as it takes time, and be patient with him. But I think the thing with the fans will be urgent to get him back, the manager as well. When you see the difference he comes on the bench, he gives everybody a lift and he gives us something different that none of the other strikers give us, to be honest.
You have noticed already, actually, in the 2 games he's come on, he has injected a little bit of something different, something else, isn't
I think so, and I think it's maybe adrenaline when he comes off the bench, he's buzzing. Obviously when he starts the game it could be a wee bit different, but you notice right away that he gives something different from any other strikers.
The mood's rarely dull at Firhill. It's never been known to be dull. What, is morale okay in the dressing room right now?
Morale's fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, the boys are disappointed that we've lost the last couple of games. The biggest disappointment was the Airdrie game. I think the boys were gutted. They wanted to get to a final. They know this club hasn't had a lot of finals recently, so it was a chance to win a bit of silverware. I mean, that was a hard one to take. But no, the mood's not bad. I mean, we know we're still such a bizarre league. We're mid-table, but we're 5 points off the top, so one win makes the whole difference. So a couple of wins in a row, it's a different ball game.
You've now played every team in the division. Who's caught your eye the most, would you say? Who's got the strongest squad?
Well, I think St Johnstone have possibly got the strongest squad, but we gave them a bit of a going over. I think they've turned the corner. They've had their sticky spell, whereas we're going through our sticky spell at the moment. I thought Dunfermline was probably the best team we've played the first game of the season. I thought they passed the ball really well. I think they'll be up there challenging towards the end of the season. I think they're probably one of the better, stronger teams.
Yeah, you thumped St Johnstone 4-0 a couple of months back. You won't be expecting it to be quite so easy this weekend. No,
I don't think so. As I said, I think they've been through maybe their sticky patch. I think everybody in the league seems to have a wee sticky patch. Hopefully that's been ours over and done with. So I think it'll be a really tough game, a totally different game from the first time. I think they've turned the corner possibly, St Johnstone, but I think as we showed in the first game we can get at them, and we scored some really good goals that day, so hopefully we're as confident in his attacking, we'll maybe get a couple of goals.
Yeah. An old teammate of yours, Colin Samuel, from the St Johnstone front line. Did you play with him at Dundee United?
I did, I played with Colin Samuel, played with quite a number of the boys at St Johnstone. And Sammy's one of the boys, he's like a typical kind of winger. I mean, he's hot and cold. One game would be brilliant, next game not so brilliant, so hopefully he's having an off day when we play them.
Yeah. Just finishing off, it's your testimonial year this year, Alan. What's been the highlights of your 10 years at Firhill?
Without a shadow of a doubt, winning the first and second division. The 3 seasons actually, the second division, the first division, and then staying in the Premier League was fantastic. And I think the highlight was winning the second division. It was such a hard league to get out of. It's a horrible, horrible league, and the club had been through such hard times since they saved the Giants. It just went all kind of free fall, and then Mr. Lambie came back and turned things around, and it was just such a relief to get out of the second division, to be honest. And then we went one step further and winning the first division. It was just a momentum of winning games, so that's probably been the main highlight. Speaking of Mr. Lambie, everyone seems to have a favourite John Lambie story. Do you have any? Lambie story? Oh, there's that many, to be honest. I don't know what one my favourite is. Probably something to do with any of the Blackpool trips. He was just a one-off going down there, so he was brilliant. Do you see him much about the club? Yeah, he's still about every Saturday. I see him more of him now because I'm not playing on a Saturday. He's still here, and he goes to most of the away games as well, so he's one of the biggest fans. Excellent. Okay, all the very best for Saturday then. No problem.